Okay, guys, so the Year 5 Season 4 Rainbow Six Siege Desire Notes came out the other day, and there were some things on there that we all liked. There were some things that we didn't like, as we do every season when the mid-season patch notes roll out. And so everyone's talking about, the Zofia withstand, Melusi losing her angle grip, Buck getting the Heartbreach charge, and while it's all fine and dandy, one thing hasn't really been spoken out that much about, and that is the current ban rate of Mira. And so, as you can see, Mira is not only the most banned defender, but she is the most banned operator in this game, and I kind of see that as a problem. I think anytime that there's an operator who is banned overwhelmingly, I see that as a problem and think that Ubisoft needs to be paying attention to them and trying to either make them more balanced or implement something into the game that makes them less oppressive than they already are, whether that be through a nerf or that be through, added counters. And so in the case of Mira, I think the best solution to lower her ban rate would be to add another counter. And I think the best counter that they could add would be to make Callie a direct counter to Mira. I think that the best way this could be implemented would be to allow Callie to, still keep 3 of her lances and make it to where 2 lances would completely destroy the Mira window. And the way that I would like to set it up, if I was a dev, this is what I'd be pushing for. Have the first lance shoot out of Callie's rifle, and it would destroy the first layer of Mira's black mirror to where you could see inside, but there was still another layer of glass there. So it's just bulletproof glass at that point. You can see through it, and then you'd have to shoot a second lance in order to destroy that second layer so that you could actually shoot through it. And some of you may like this idea, some of you guys may think it's too much, and I understand that. That would be a huge change to the meta, but I think it's the best option we currently have if we want to see, our operators balanced to the point where they're not overly banned like Mira or like Thatcher, and I'll get to Thatcher here in a minute. But I think Mira is probably the most difficult operator for the devs to balance because she's not an operator who's all about fragging. You pick her for her utility, and while the Vector is fantastic, if you gave her an MP5, her presence would remain very, very similar in ranked. And Ubisoft sees Mira's ban rate as a problem, and their solution as of right now was to just ban her 1.5 times optic. Changing the available attachments on a weapon is something that I always think should be done before Ubisoft goes through with a large nerf or a large buff, just to really see if that changes their ban rate or pick rate. And while I understand and agree with the logic of removing the 1.5 on Mira's Vector, I highly doubt, like if I was a betting man, I would bet that that's really not going to change anything. She's still going to be the most banned defender. And I could say the same thing with Melusi. While I think that her losing the angle grip may discourage some people from playing her, she's still going to get banned at her current rate. They swapped out her T5 with the MP5, and that did very little in terms of her ban rate. So it's clear that Melusi is banned not because of her kit, not because of her fragging potential, but because she has 3 Banshees, and we don't see her ban rate and presence go down until eventually they remove one of them, which, it has to be on the way. This has been a problem, I think, since release. Remember on release, they lowered the radius of her Banshees, but, from the beginning, I always thought that they just needed to lower it down to 2 just because of the utility meta that we are in, or maybe do something along the lines of making it not bulletproof. But anyway, this video is about Mira. So I don't think that Mira is necessarily overpowered, but more that she is one of the biggest pains to deal with. And I also realize that Mira has to be one of the most difficult operators to balance, considering that she's picked for her gadget and not necessarily because of her kit. And removing one window would cause her pick rate to plummet. So what I think should be done is to add more counters to Mira. Okay guys, pausing the video for a second to remind you to hit the subscribe button for more content, and go ahead and hit the bell icon. That helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and if you want to enjoy this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Anyways, back to the video. And so as for the counters that we have to Mira, first let's look at Zero and Twitch. Twitch, if we're being honest with ourselves, it's really, really rare that a Twitch is able to get rid of a mirror window before the Twitch drone is destroyed, mostly because a mute's typically being brought, and because that Twitch drone is really loud. And we know Mira's always looking for that Twitch drone to come during the early rounds. So it's rare that a Twitch is able to pop open a Mira window. And if a Twitch does pop that open, it's mostly due because the defenders, weren't paying attention. There's only so much you can do as a Twitch to try to get the Mira window open. It mostly just falls on the defense not paying attention, which I'm not really a big fan of. And Zero, frankly, he's not worth bringing for a vast majority of the rounds because he's really hard to fit into the team composition. So even then, you'd be better off with a Twitch. We also have the hard breachers of Ace and Hibana, and yes, I left out Thermite and Maverick, and while I realize that they can get rid of a Mira window, it's rare that that can be done successfully in a ranked match. The only time you'll ever really see that done is if they're setting up the Mira window for intel rather than playing off of it. So like setting up on an exterior wall to help Bandit with the Bandit trick. And in those scenarios, Mira isn't, an insanely OP operator, whereas if you put her, whereas you have her set up on most sides like you do with the Mira, with, the reinforced wall with the Mira window and the soft wall next to it, that's the part where she becomes a nuisance that is just so hard to deal with. So while I do realize that there are some counters to Mira, I think there are very few of them that are able to fit well within a team composition and are really a risk to bringing. But I think that the best thing Ubisoft could do, considering it's really hard to balance Mira, is to let Kali be a direct counter to Mira. And I really think that this is a scenario where we could hit two birds with one stone. And I've talked about this before. I realize that there will be a ban meta. There's always going to be one operator who is banned more than anyone else. However, the best thing that we could ask for is a game that is balanced well enough to where the bans come for a specific map and not because there's an operator that we just don't like overall, like a Mira, like a Thatcher, like a Melusi. Those operators are banned regardless of the map you're playing, whereas we need to have a system and we need to have this meta set up to where we're banning maps specifically. As of right now, Thatcher is the most banned attacker, even though he was hit with that huge nerf that disables gadgets rather than destroying them. He's constantly banned, and it's evident that Ubisoft wants to make Kali a more desirable pick. And even though she is getting nerfed for this mid-season patch to where she can't down a 1-speed operator, but she can now instantly kill a 3-speed, Ubisoft has stated that their goal is to overall promote her presence. Now, I don't think this is the best way to do it, but Ubisoft has stated that they do want her to be picked more. So we're in a dilemma where Mira and Thatcher are the most banned operators in this game, and a huge nerf to Thatcher did nothing to his ban rate, and it's impossible to make a significant change to Mira without ruining her. So I think allowing Kali to be a direct counter to Mira would be a significant step in lowering the ban rate of Thatcher as well as Mira. So you have a Kali come in, shoot her lance at the Mira window, it busts the Mira window. Or have it set up to some degree where it takes 2 lances to bust up the Mira window. That would be fine, but as of right now, it's so hard to deal with the Mira. She's a nuisance, and having more counters to her would be a great benefit to, Kali, increasing her pick rate and lowering the ban rates of operators like Mira as well as Thatcher. So what do you think? Do you like this idea, or do you think that Kali would become too powerful? Or do you think that, all things considered, Mira and Thatcher and Kali are all in a good spot right now? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Anyways, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell icon for more content. I am the Senator, and as always, have a good one.